Let me set the scene for you. So, what do we got going on in here, huh? Honey, that's way too violent! Is it really? Now that's more like it. That's it. Really? Come on, give it another try. Just practice a little bit. You'll get the hang of it. I wasn't born good at games. Let's see what else I have. And there I was, toe-to-toe with a game I wrongfully assumed would be a halfway decent time. You see, I'm not actually familiar with either of these titles. They just sort of happen into my collection over the years. Just going through thrift shops. Just saw a Super Nintendo cartridge, gonna grab it. So, I really don't know anything about either of these games. While the Capcom title looks way more interesting, and as the name Capcom would suggest, we should probably trust it's going to be a good time, but alas, this one was a little too much for my kids. Or was it too boring for my kids? Well, let's get this over with. You know what I'm about to do. Experience loads of regret. I could be spending my time playing a game I actually like, which I do plan on doing. Don't worry about that.
Mickey's Ultimate Challenge.
5 magical puzzles full of family fun.
On the cartridge, we can see Mickey is trying to traverse a room full of trapdoors, a bunch of character tiles, and some old-timey Toontown-looking place that I almost mistook for a gingerbread house. Don't lie to me and make me look stupid. You see it too. This game is by High Tech Expressions. I doubt that. Designer Software?
With a name like that, I know we're in good hands.
Oh, great title screen. Why can't I start? Is this broken? Oh wait, never mind. I have to wait for Mickey to strut his stuff across the screen. Well, my girls do like both of them, but first let's play as Minnie for now. We'll try the lowest difficulty as well. Cake.
Ah, yeah, that sounds pretty high tech.
One night, as Minnie lay in bed reading a book of fairy tales, she thought to herself how wondrous it would be to live in a far-off land. So she ran away. In a magical castle. And then she fell asleep. Finally, that music isn't hurting me anymore. Excuse me, sir, but could you please tell me where we are?
The Kingdom of Beanwick, of course.
Oh my, what was that?
New to the kingdom, eh? That was another blooming earthquake. We just keep having them.
You all must be pretty shaken.
Sure, it's easy to joke, but nobody can figure out how to stop them. I suppose we're doomed.
Yeah, fuck it. We're all doomed. Why try?
There, don't you worry about a thing. Maybe I can help.
That's mighty noble of you. We'd be so grateful if you could put a stop to this blinking rumbling.
Alright, we gotta solve the mystery of the earthquakes. Equally exciting premise, but I am 2,000% more bored and disappointed. Is it too late to go back to the other game? Well, let's get moving. We've got ourselves a library here, run by Clarabelle Cow, I think. And also, I am thoroughly impressed. This librarian refers to these earthquakes as annoying rumblings. She is so confident in the architecture of Beanwick, not even phased.
You hear that, plate tectonics? Fuck you!
We just gotta use our ABCs to organize some books. By jumping on them? Civilized. Try not to touch the ground? Okay. Well, nothing happens when I touch the ground. I'm guessing we gotta start with B and is that a duck skull? More nightmares for me then. Great. We've got a bunch of blue books going up and down, and we've got some brown books with letters on them. The blue ones are just platforms to help you get around. It's the lettered ones that we need to worry about. The safest way to get around is to jump after you've floated up a ways from a book. Once you're up there,
Whoa, you just gonna leave those puppies out to dry like that?
I am learning an awful lot about duck anatomy, and we've only just started the game. That is one proud duck. What was I talking about? Anyway, if you hang out on a lettered book for too long after it's been used, it flies away from under you. But then the last book whisks us all the way back to the librarian. We are given a book of spells, which I would imagine is a fix-all, but I guess there aren't any anti-earthquake spells in this world, or at least in this book. Okay, well, we can't go left, and I can't go right. Why can't I make this jump? See, what you're actually supposed to do is you're supposed to push A to jump higher. The B button only makes you jump a little ways. It gives you a low jump. Why bother giving us two jump buttons?
How could I be so silly? It's platforming 101. You got two buttons, two jumps. Right, Mario?
This footage doesn't do justice for how long it originally took me to solve this issue for my kids. Now I'm wondering, why would anybody bother with a short jump? There is no clear indication that you have two jump buttons. Actually, I don't think there are any button prompts in this game. They just want to assume toddlers know what they're doing. So we hop our way up this tower and find a doorway that's a duck head. Oh god, and I gotta go in its mouth.
We've gone straight from anthro breasts to vor real quick. Look that up. No, Mom, not you. You don't look that up. No.
Why, Donald's dressed like a magician. I wonder what he's up to.
When you call a wizard a magician, it kind of takes a lot of the meaning out of it, don't you think?
Oh, Donald is a competent sorcerer? He's actually making the beaker... I take it back. Amateur. He makes a bad joke at our expense, but at least we can unshrink. Enlarging powder or sunlight? Oh, I get it. Sunlight is their way around the loophole of backing out while you're small, and that way we don't have any continuity errors. Luckily, when you come back out, you don't have to watch him shrink the first two. His spell deflects back right away. The fact that all three of these beakers are back and the spell came straight to us tells me this is the most complicated line of code in this game yet. Push them to you? Donald, just walk over here. Get your lazy tail feathers over here. Seriously, Donald. You're right here. Just grab the potions. I'll admit, I actually really like this reflective board, and Donald's hands being right there, it's a really good detail. Probably the most detail they're putting in it. But none of this makes sense. It's your typical box world or whatever that Atari game turned Zelda puzzle is called. Only push, no pull, so don't push into a corner or a wall where you can't get it back out. We're pushing it through a magic mirror supposedly, but it looks like I'm pushing it into a small well of water or something, or a funnel. Nothing about this says magic mirror. If anything, I'm walking on a mirror. Who needs such a small mirror anyway? And for either of these being mirrors, why are they mounted to a tabletop? Why are they stuck here?
Donald!
Good going, Toots. She's taken, you know. You're taken. Well, maybe not in this universe. He's giving us some spectacles for completing the minigame. Between minigames, as long as you're out here in the hub world, earthquakes can occur at random, and Minnie has special animations and everything. Again, another really great detail. But the Weasel Guard is already used to it, he doesn't budge at all. A boat dock? Can I get in the water? Oh, looky here, a wardrobe change.
Hey, no peeking.
And she's in full scuba gear. Are we doing an underwater minigame? No? We're not? Well, that's one way to get across the drawbridge. At least the waters aren't infested. What's this? The void? Call the king and queen. We got about an acre of missing kingdom estate right outside this castle. There's supposed to be more here.
Maybe I shouldn't have come this far. Seriously, I'm astounded. This has never happened before. I'm really glad I captured this.
And we find the magical warp point. Now we're inside Goofy's metal shop. Even though it's medieval times, they were wise enough to have installed a hood vent over his forge. Goofy says he's ordered his tools in his toolbox in a particular way, and we need to guess, and he'll drop hints. But unlike everything else in this game, you press Y to swing the hammer.
Because simply telling Goofy shears, screws, shears, wrench isn't gonna cut it. We're gonna have to spell it out to him the only way he knows how. With metal.
The hints are more like confirmation. It just highlights green whenever you got the right one. And these green Mickey heads are supposed to tell me I was right? I don't know. Each time he adds a tool to the mix and makes it a little harder. After you complete the minigame, he gifts you his hammer. The only one, it looks like. Unless you count those. Oh, that's better. Glad the Royal Magician was able to sort this disaster out while we were inside. So we cross the moat and get into the castle. Oh, Daisy is the princess of this castle.
Okay, guys, I know we just came from a room where she's got busts of her bust. Please try not to stare at her top while we're here, okay? I'm looking at you again.
Princess Daisy, not that one, is real upset that the royal paintings are all dusty and she isn't wearing the proper shoes to do it herself. You know we're both wearing heels, right? Neither of us are equipped for this. Instead of a timer, she tells us we have until this torch burns out. She should have mentioned that I was supposed to be matching these. The gods of Beanwick won't allow paintings to go dusted in non-matching sequential orders, so they'll be redusted.
Undusted, redusted, unredusted.
A gold bar? See, somebody in this kingdom actually knows how to pay someone for their hard work. We go next door to the drawbridge room and we find the triplets. Good to know they're doing fine. I was worried when we saw some skulls back there. So we gotta jump on pumps like Simon says, only all the pumps make crude farting sounds. Tell me I'm wrong. If you mess up, you gotta start all over again, and the pattern changes each time, so you can't just memorize it and cheese it. Thanks, Minnie. Hey, you're a girl. Maybe you could use this glass slipper we found.
It's your personality, right? You take it. I don't know what to do with this, and this is too complicated for me.
Wow, these cheesy water effects, though. Even looks like a little bit of MS Paint went into this. The spray paint tool. Now we have a full inventory, and we're just left to backtrack and see if we can give away any of this useless junk. The boys need the mallet to fix the drawbridge, that I already fixed. And they give us a magic bean that was stuck in the machine. We give Daisy her lost slipper, and she's also lost her sense of value because we went from giving out gold to giving out magic beans. But hey, it's magic. Next, we give Donald the Book of Spells. He gives us a magic bean. We give Clarabelle the spectacles. Gosh, I hope this works.
Yeah, that's how it went for me too. Here you go.
She gives us a magic bean. Then finally, we give our gold to Goofy, and he gives us another magic bean. Finally, Mickey throws a fit over all the lousy beans she got, forgetting that they were all, magic beans, I guess. Then throws all 5 of them into the well, and conveniently makes a wish right after, unaware she's standing right next to a wishing well. Blam! Magic beanstalk. So we learn that the earthquakes are being caused by this giant's snoring. And finally, a little tile slider puzzle. This was supposed to be the part where I tell you about how easy these puzzles are and an easy way to figure them out when this happened. Yep. I made a fool of myself, and now I can't even remember why I thought these were so easy in the first place. I swear, I played through this game a year ago out of morbid curiosity of what I was letting my kids play, and this did not give me this much trouble then. Eventually, you wake up the giant. When he asks you if you woke him up, you can tell him no and he just goes right back to sleep. If you tell him yes, the game ends. We get a little credit sequence that loops, really short sequence too. Someone's name isn't capitalized. We have a credit for the music player, in case that had any fans. Then finally, a special thanks to the guys at Echidna for Tomb, the universal map editor.
I'm sorry, what maps?
So now that we've played through easy mode, let's see how challenging this gets. But don't worry, I'll make this quick, okay? Let's play as Mickey this time. We're treated to the same story, only this time the castle is a different color and a different pun. Maybe they should call this place the Kingdom of Jumping Bean Wick.
Minnie is perfect for you.
So the book minigame has us guessing a word, and now we learn the actual threat of not touching the ground. We no longer can walk on this bookcase. Actually kind of frustrating to miss a jump enough to start this over too. Donald's minigame has more difficult maps.
Oh!
And it has even more maps on it than the previous modes. And Donald doesn't hit on Mickey. Strange. So Mickey uses a tube to get across? Kinda cute, I guess. Goofy tells Mickey he's just twiddling his thumbs. Why didn't he say that to Minnie? He said he was biding his time to her, which sounds much more ominous than thumb twiddling. Are you not supposed to talk about thumb twiddling in front of someone else's lady? This time the hints are much more vague. These little squares are left for our interpretation, I think. I'm pretty sure it reads how many are right, how many are wrong, or right but in the wrong place. But I didn't want to spend any more time doing this, especially since it keeps making me start over every time. And in this difficulty, we've got tons more royal paintings, and we get to see our visual cue for how much time we have left when the torchlight's dim. Sort of a neat touch, but it's hard on the eyes. Finally, the boys' minigame is just the same, only arbitrarily raising the amount of commands you have to copy. I did not have the time or patience or will to keep going at this point. Look at this. Bullshit. I didn't care anymore.
So yeah, this is a pretty disappointing game. Steer clear of it. You'll only be getting this if you're trying to fill out your library. And I tried looking up designer software later, and I found nothing on it. But Wikipedia says that this game was actually published by Disney Software. So either that's a horrible typo or somehow I'm supposed to see a Y in that long S or whatever's going on in that symbol there. I'm not understanding. They must have had an identity crisis because they've changed their names so many times to even names that aren't on the record, apparently. If you're trying to get every game that came out for the Super Nintendo, fine. Otherwise, seriously do yourself a favor and skip this. Looking at this, it almost looks like it's fun and fancy free. It turned into a video game. You know, the Magic Beanstalk story, except with Mickey Mouse characters. I mean, the whole cast is there pretty much. It shows him wearing an outfit that he wore in Fun and Fancy Free, and it's got all this other stuff that looks far more interesting going on the cartridge itself. But when we put the game in, we just get a Snoozefest. We just get a bunch of boring toddler minigames. I want to play that other game that I started earlier, but just the sight of that mouse is making me throw up in my mouth a little bit. So I'm going to take a little break from our mouse. If you guys liked what you saw, and if you thought I was funny to any capacity, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, or whatever it is you do. And I'll see you next time.
Here comes the bitch, Mickey.